Hello there, and welcome back to Winning the Division, episode number 11. I am one of your hosts, Ryan Smith, joined alongside Ben Troupe, former NFL tight end. Also played college ball at the University of Florida. Well, Ben, we are week 9 into this NFL season. Week 10, hard to believe, around the corner. And let's go ahead and just get right into it like we normally do. Who is our players and not so players of the week? So I'll let you go first this week.
I just tried to title this thing the good, the bad, and the awful. I'm not even going to say the ugly. Let's start with the good first. The guy that, to me, since he came out of college, really hasn't shown his playmaking ability. I think he was able to show what he's capable of doing if you get in the rock, and that's Zay Flowers. Receiving from the Ravens, 5 catches, 127 yards, 2 touches, 25.4 yards, a catch. His second touchdown is what I think stood out to me, Ryan Smitty. When I saw him, caught in the middle of the field, stopped on a dime, ran to the side, outran everybody. And Derrick Henry is the shiny new toy that you got in the offseason. I think if Zay Flowers get more opportunities, he's going to make life very, very, easy on a guy like Lamar Jackson, who just want to, obviously stay healthy week in and week out. My second number 2 is a guy who, with Halloween being gone and us making a lot of jokes about him, Joe Burrow. 27 to 39, 251 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. And I think it kind of shows, Smitty, when he's at his best, he's one of the best. When everything is clicking for him, he's one of the best to get it going. And obviously had his way against the Raiders team that fired the offensive coordinator, fired their quarterback, just fired a lot of people today. And we're gonna get to that when we talk about firings and different things. My bad. Jameis Winston. This is a week. This is a week removed from beating the Ravens. Obviously, gonna give you the best sound bites for pregame, postgame, during the game if you want to talk to him. But 26 to 46, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. The thing about Jameis Winston is, and it's something I told you, which it was jokingly, but he said when he was with the Bucs, we had 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, is because he didn't have LASIK. He couldn't see. He even said, I thought Bruce Arians was black. Now, I don't know how he did that, but he definitely wasn't seeing straight on Sunday. But 3 picks for a guy, Jameis Winston. And my awful. I got 2. First, the group, Tennessee Titans defense. At the end of the game, Drake May is just running around trying to, extend the play to, and I'm like, I said, watch, he's gonna find somebody in the end zone, find the
last second play. I know exactly where you're going. Yes.
I'm just the whole time, Smitty, I'm just like this. What? Just watch this. Here we go. Because they're getting penalties to extend the. Whenever it's a game-winning drive and the defense does something to extend the drive on like 3rd down, giving them free yards, I'm like, here we go. Now the Titans did win the game. They made it way, more serious than it has to be. Way too, But the Titans did get it done, but the defense let them down. And my number, this right here might shock you, Smitty. My other awful is DJ Moore. DJ Moore walked off the field during a play when Caleb Williams is scrambling. Now, I do not know, I do not have all the details of the play, but during the play, he was scrambling, and Caleb Williams is running towards the left sideline, and DJ Moore is on that side. So I guess either DJ Moore thought he was going to run out of bounds or get sacked, but he didn't. And DJ Moore just walked off the field. I don't know if DJ Moore is hurt.
I thought I saw him limping on that, but maybe I'm wrong.
Trying to get traded. I don't know. I do not know. I'm just saying.
We'll take him back in Carolina. We will take him back in Carolina in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but it was just unlike DJ Moore. No, I do not know him personally. Never spoke to him, but just from what I've seen of him, his character, the type of player, type of pro he is, that just was unlike him. So DJ Moore, Tennessee Titans for my ugly, obviously Jameis Winston for my bad and good, Zay Flowers and Joe Burrow. I think I know which one of your goods is going to be, but I just want to wait and see. But that's my good, bad, and awful.
Well, my good is Saquon Barkley. Let's go with him. 27 carries, 159 yards, and a touchdown with the backwards jump cut or jump. However you want to call that, jumping.
Hurdle. The backwards jump hurdle seen and heard around the world.
Hurdle. Thank you. Hurdle. I was not a track guy. Hurdle. Yes. So the backwards hurdle And it is just absolutely filthy what that man can do. And we're gonna have a segment on that in just a little bit. We'll tease that a little bit, but segment about hurdles coming up very soon. So Saquon Barkley was my good. I'll even call him great. Kind of a 1B with him on his own team. I also thought Devonta Smith was good as well. AJ Brown went out during the game with an injury, and Devonta Smith had only 4 catches for 87 yards, but a long touchdown that he caught in the back of the end zone. That was a pretty good thrown ball by Jalen Hurts.
That catch was nasty.
Yeah, so that was very good ball placement by Hurts, but yes, a better catch by Devonta Smith. My bad is going to be the New Orleans Saints 4th down and 4 against my Carolina Panthers. I won't say that was awful because they had to extend the drive to try to it was nothing, so it was do or die. So I'm not going to say it was awful, but the play call I just didn't understand. If I'm taking my Panther fandom out of it, I just didn't understand the play call. A kind of down the sideline 50-50 ball on 4th and 4. You need 4 yards. Go spike the ball. Get an easy 4 yard slant route or something, and then go spike the ball. Like something to where you didn't need to go all the way down the sideline like that. I just didn't understand that one at all. And then my awful. So you stole the Titans. I won't go the same as you. I was going to do the Titans coming into tonight, but thankfully I had a backup, so that way I didn't have to do that. My awful. Okay. Whew. This is going to be hard to say. My awful is the Indianapolis Colts just in general last night. I mean, listen, the Minnesota Vikings defense has made Joe Flacco look human again. That's not what I'm saying. That's fine. But you're telling me that you had the Vikings right on the ropes there. You were winning at halftime 7-0. You had the Vikings beat, and you could not put the pedal to the metal in the second half, and you just let the Vikings just dog walk you in the second half and make it really not even a decent game in the fourth quarter. So that was just awful in my opinion. Like, where was the halftime adjustments? Where was the defensive stuff that was working for you in the first half? Where was more Jonathan Taylor in the second half? Just not a lot going right for the Indianapolis Colts last night, who all of a sudden now with Anthony Richardson being benched, Shane Steichen announced the rest of the season, it's going to get early fast there, maybe for Shane Steichen. Anyway, so we can talk more about that in a few minutes, but they are my awful of the week. That is my good, bad, and awful for this week. Week 9 of the NFL season, as we said, has come and gone. Ending tonight with Kansas City and Tampa Bay down in Kansas City. Currently 3-0 Chiefs at the end of the first quarter on Monday Night Football. But elsewhere, what did you see from Week 9 overall that just kind of stuck out with you? Just games to note, things that caught your eye.
I'm not going to get away from this Panthers and Saints because I think every week we come on here, Smitty, and we try not to just pile on Bryce Young. Every week it's if he would have did this better, if he would have did that better. It's something that we kept talking about too, before the show, this morning. Andy Dalton is not praised enough, not for what he meant to the Panthers, but what he's meant to Bryce Young, because Bryce Young has never had a chance to sit. He sat in college because Matt Jones was the starter, so he hadn't played yet. Obviously, he was a man coming out of high school, being the number 1 recruit, going to Alabama, winning the Heisman, so on, number 1 pick. I get it. He was thrust into the starting position because of where he got drafted, and he never had a chance to sit. Now, he did improvise some yesterday, and his pick, it was a pick, but it was unlike any interception you're going to see when you just talking about Xavier Legette literally he's caught it, and the DB like, nope, give me that. And it was a bad play.
It was a great play, yes.
But Bryce Young to me showed why. Let me say this. I don't like when people say he's showing you why he was the number 1 pick. No. He's showing you why he is capable of winning games. If he is just poised, confident, and just playing within the confines of the scheme, not the game, the scheme, he can still improvise. You're never going to take that away from him. But he showed a lot of growth within 2 weeks, 2 or 3. I'm like, dude, like he's still Bryce. But I think the thing is, I'm gonna say this: Bryce Young is one of the only receivers one of the only quarterbacks in the National Football League that doesn't have a number one receiver. He does not have a number one receiver. When people say, "What is a number one receiver?" That means he can take the top off of defense, can beat double team. Justin Jefferson is number one. Jamar Chase is number one. Tyreek Hill is number one. He doesn't. Xavier Legette is a young budding star, but he's not a number one receiver. And I think what I can appreciate about Bryce yesterday was he was poised, man. Like this when he got benched, right? Everybody judging his body language. Oh, look at how he's interviewing guys. He's saying, he's quoting scriptures. He's saying, it's in God's hands. Well, that's what he said at Alabama. That's how he always talked. But all of a sudden, there's a problem with it when you look. The same reason why they love you will be the same reason why they hate you, and you've done nothing different. Shout out to Bryce Young and Bryce, which we might, if we have a chance to get to it. Anthony Richardson needs to have your number on speed dial because
I imagine he does. I'm going to say that.
Only because Anthony Richardson, obviously I don't like this. If you get benched, stop showing the guy. Like, what do you keep showing him? Anthony Richardson. I'm with you. It's like, but now they probably could have used a little Anthony Richardson yesterday against the Vikings because I don't know. Whatever the Vikings did coming out of the halftime, the Colts didn't. Like, whatever pep talk the Vikings had, the Colts didn't. So I think that what Bryce Young shows is, number one, no, I didn't ever think they was giving up on him. Number one. Number two, we didn't know how long Andy Dalton was going to play, but you kept saying it. You said, Coach Analysis, he's going to have to decide who's it going to be for the rest of the year. I do think it's going to be Bryce, but shout out to Bryce Young, man, getting a big win. And, hey, Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
And so Bryce wasn't nail in the coffin, but that was also their seventh loss in a row. So it was inevitable. Yes. It just Bryce was the one.
Yeah. So sticking with my Panthers over the Saints, yes. So number one, Bryce played so much better yesterday than he had done. Best game of the year. Let's just put it out there. NFL is a week-to-week league. Last year is obviously last year. Everyone talks about the Green Bay game last year, but again, that's last year. Best game this year so far of Bryce's season, easily, of the 4 games that he's played. And like you said, poise is a good word for it. I mean, if you can see my hand there. During the broadcast, you saw one of the throws that he made down the middle to Legette. He did his little, Bama, like that was just like a little hand gesture like this. Like he's like the confidence, the poise. He's like, yeah, like he knew that he knew the throw was there and he did it. And I don't know if there was a point in the game, the announcer was saying that Bryce saw something in the defense, told the Panther player, one of the teammates on the left side of the line, to move in based on how the defense was playing, and that prevented the Panthers from getting an illegal procedure penalty. And then we ended up snapping the ball, and we weren't called for illegal procedure. So that was just a little thing that the announcer said. Like last year, Bryce wasn't doing that. This year, he's doing little things like that, getting everybody set up and making sure you don't get penalties, stupid penalties like that. But let me just say this. Yes, Bryce sent his second coach in a calendar year to the unemployment line. Arthur Smith was the Atlanta Falcons coach last year on Thursday Night Football, where the Panthers beat them and just sent Arthur Smith up to Pittsburgh to be their offensive coordinator later in the offseason. But yes, the defense stepped up also at times. J.C. Horn had some pass breakups. They hardly tried him yesterday. He actually had a pretty quiet game as a whole. Dane Jackson played pretty well the second game back after being out with a hamstring most of the year. Xavier Woods, Mike Jackson, corner from Seattle that we got in a trade, also had the pass breakup on 4th and 4 to win the game. Chuba Hubbard, really good runs on the offensive side of the ball. Xavier Legette, like you said. Jalen Coker, not a name people will know outside of the Carolinas eventually. He is an undrafted free agent from Holy Cross. Only reason he did not get drafted was because he went to Holy Cross and didn't in his competition. He is going to be a star. Yes, I said it, a star. I'm not saying Justin Jefferson, don't get me twisted, but he compares to me. He reminds me of someone like a Darius Slayton for the Giants, but a better version of Darius Slayton. Yes, So to wrap this up, I'm going long-winded. 2-7. Yes, not much to write home about for the Panthers this year, but just good to get a win. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
1-point victory.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, could have been 5. 1 point doesn't matter. Good to get a victory at the end of the day. But before I leave that game, you said Canales has to make a decision. Well,
Yeah.
so it's funny because Panther fans are now saying, well, today Dave Canales came out and basically said that they're going to evaluate the game and everything, and they still, as of this afternoon, had not named a quarterback for Germany. Now, so as a player in the NFL, around the trade deadline, I know it's a little different nowadays, but it's generally the same when you were playing. Here's a question for you. Some Panther fans are saying, well, why didn't he come out and just say Bryce is the starter based on, is it just gamemanship? Or is it because there could be a trade in the works? They don't want it. Can't say a lot. Maybe something happens before tomorrow at 4:00. You can't say anything. So, like, why do you think Canales didn't name him the starter? Because people are like, well, just name him the starter. There's no reason to keep this in the dark. We all know it's going to be Bryce at this point. And if you go back to Andy Dalton, then, as some Panther fans are saying, Canales just needs to be shipped out. Like.
I think Canales is. If I had to guess, I think Canales is trying to make sure Bryce never gets comfortable. Like I always say, hey man, I want you to always, be on your toes, knowing that at any time, not so much we're gonna pull you, but I don't want you to get comfortable yet. Because let's face it, Canales did not draft Bryce Young. He inherited Bryce Young. So when you're trying to instill, a mentality in a player, your mentality, players have their mentality, they have the team's mentality, and hopefully they got some level of the coach's mentality. I think Canales is trying to see where his head is because, Smitty, just like I know. I need to know how mentally tough my team is. I got to know if my quarterback is mentally tough. So I'm going to do things to not necessarily to rattle him, not necessarily to confuse him, but to make sure he understands, hey, man, I don't want you to get comfortable. I want you to always understand that you have to be getting better all the time. And I'm not saying, look, we're not privy to conversations or meetings that Coach Canales have with Bryce Young or what he's telling him. But I think Coach Canales, we have to understand, too, he's trying to grow up as a head coach in front of our eyes, too. Like because that's the part that we don't talk about enough. Like these head coaches, they are paid to talk to the media during the week, before the game, after the game, before a win, after a loss, after a loss, after a win. So I think it's more of, because remember, this is the same Coach Canales. This is the same guy that was asked before he benched Bryce. Is Bryce your guy? He said on Sunday after the game, he's our guy. What they do Monday? They went to Andy Dalton. They did it the next day. So I think that you said it is, it's gamesmanship, it's sportsmanship, it's making sure that Bryce knows, hey man, Bryce is the guy. And he know he's not for the bench. Bryce just won. You're not for the bench him, but I think it's really just saying too, hey man, I'm gonna say, like Bryce, I'm gonna say something different out there when I'm in front of those cameras, because I kind of want to keep them guessing. I'd rather keep them guessing and keep them off of you and keep the attention on me, because most head coaches get to pick their quarterback. They do. Coach Canales didn't get to pick him. So I don't mind it as long as it don't get too ridiculous, because the thing about coaches, they can't win, right? If they give us too much coach speak, it's boring. If they don't really answer questions, why don't he answer questions? So I think maybe it's Coach Canales' personality. Maybe that's just because a lot of times coaches coach according to who they coach under. Remember when the report came out about Tues and Coach Brian Flores, and Tues finally spoke about how Coach Flores used to say how you're the worst player ever. Like they say that Coach Belichick, now I don't know if it was that extreme, but they say Coach Belichick, that's how he coached. Like he come at you, like tough.
Yeah.
Obviously he did with Tom Brady, Edelman, Gronk, Brewski, all those guys. So maybe it's just what Coach Canales does. Mm-hmm. But so far so good, man. Whatever Bryce, because we don't get it. When people say, I hope he grows up, he got benched. Like when people say it's going to be how he handles the benching. Well, there is a right way to handle it, but wrong way of handling benching is when I'm talking too much in the media, talking too much on social media. I don't see Bryce being that type of dude. Like I haven't seen that, and I've only seen him, a couple of years, not going on a couple of years. So I just think it's Coach Canales just trying to keep the young man on his toes. And I can live as because now Smitty, now hold on. I gotta ask this. Coach Canales said we haven't named a starter for Germany. If Andy Dalton runs out there, please give me your reaction to Andy Dalton as a starter.
They're done with Bryce Young.
No, are you done? Are you done with? Are you saying Canales? Like what are you doing? What are you doing?
Because I would be stunned, but then again, it's the Panthers, so nothing really stuns me right now as a Panthers fan.
Hold on. Hold on. And listen, we're not gonna call him out because we don't do that. But there is a good friend of the show who helps us out in other avenues when it comes to our show being on other networks. He made some comments, and I don't think he's alone in his comments, what he said about Bryce Young. We're not going to call him out specifically. Something you told me earlier that a good friend of yours said about Bryce Young. Like saying, well, I don't think he played that good. Based on his stats and what he did. Are those sentiments what you think? Because Panther Nation, I'm always trying to get the post. Panther Nation is happy that y'all won. But is Panther Nation as a whole impressed with Bryce individually and what he did as a player, or are they just impressed that he got the win, to help the team win?
I think it's split. I think some of them are very happy about not just the win, but his feet looked a lot better. His footwork, his anticipation, his poise. He was setting his feet, took off when he had to on the run. And then some are like, yeah, the stat line is the stat line. And that, yeah, an average quarterback can do that. Like we drafted number 1 overall. We need to see number 1 overall stuff. So I think the fan base is split on that perspective, but we'll just have to see what happens in the next 24 hours. It's the trade deadline, as we know. My bold prediction for the Panthers trade deadline, I'll just say it now because we're not gonna really go into the trade deadline on the show here, unless you want to. I think the one Panther will be shipped out by 4 o'clock.
Hold on. I gotta ask you this though. Like, can you enjoy the win? Like, I know you're happy that you got the win.
It was a victory Monday for me. I enjoyed the win. Absolutely.
Okay. Because at a certain point, depending on how I'm gonna listen.
No, they come far too little around here right now. So yes, I enjoyed the victory.
So the same people, because usually when it comes to sports fans, we usually talk to the same people, like where we work at, where we congregate at, go to church, wherever. Are there certain people that in your neck of the woods that aren't Panther fans is usually ready to say, "Oh, did you see Bryce this week, Smitty? Did you see that person and say, what's up now?" Because it's not like we have to defend these athletes. They're professional athletes. They get paid a lot of money. I get it. But how did you feel about the people that be talking trash finally get to tell them a little bit, kind of take that?
Yeah, it felt good. I mean, all we have to do is watch Cam Jordan on the Saints to know how that loss tasted in his brain yesterday, and the video that surrounded him and going on Twitter saying that we lost to the frickin' Panthers. Well, yes, you did. You lost to the frickin' Panthers.
Hey, hold on. And when he said that, now hold on now. Like, in your mind, are you saying to yourself, what are you trying to say? Like, because it's not like the Saints are world beaters right now. And I said this. I said, people said Sean Payton leaving the Saints was going to change the whole dynamic of the Saints. And I said it was Drew Brees. I said Drew Brees leaving. It's going to change. But when he said that, were you saying to yourself, really, Cameron? Because Cameron Jordan, you ain't won no Super Bowl now. Like, no, you weren't on that Super Bowl team. Mm-hmm. So, come on now. Don't like people like, we lost to the Panthers. Y'all lost to almost everybody. Y'all played this year. That was y'all 7th loss in a row. Y'all 2-7. So y'all lost to everybody at all 6 teams before that Sunday you lost to. But anyway, I didn't necessarily like that because it's almost like Cameron Jordan, like the audacity. We lost to them. Stop it. Y'all lost anyway. And beating Dallas really didn't mean that much either. We're looking at how they played. But you asked me about a game that stood out, which, you started talking about. Look, let me tell you something about these Ravens that really bothers me. That really really, really bothers me. Every time the Ravens don't try to give Derrick Henry the ball and they trying to make Lamar look like another MVP candidate, they find themselves in a dogfight. And they don't got to do that. They really don't got to do it. Get the ball to Derrick Henry, which opens up the passing game, which makes life easy for Lamar, Zay Flowers and, Likely, and so on and so forth. They dominate the Broncos. Like it was, people don't want to tackle Derrick Henry. They don't want to tackle him. They don't. And what makes it crazy is it was a play that Bo Nix ran around. He might have ran 50 yards. He just ran around, and he threw the ball like 10 yards. Like running for his life. And it just frustrates me about the Ravens is because they make – and I will say this, the Ravens defense is not what we've grown up knowing them to be. They're okay. They're not great. They might be okay, but that game stood out, obviously. Obviously, my Falcons and the Cowboys for this reason. We're not giving enough credit to Kirk Cousins and what he's been doing throwing the football. He's been lights out. He really has. Yeah, it is Dallas. And that game ended up being better than what we thought. Dak got hurt, and CeeDee Lamb, they say Dak which we'll get to it, Dak going to be out a little bit. And the Mystique, the legend known as Jaden Daniels, continues to soar. The young man is just really, really good at football. He knows he's really good at football. He's a humble, confident superstar. And I'm not saying superstar humbly. The man is a super duper star. So the Commanders and the Giants. Oh, but I will say this, though. Giants did put up a fight. Daniel Jones came to play, came up a little bit short. Shout out to them Commanders. And like I said, some good football yesterday. Detroit, they still bullies. They bully people the way they play football. They bullied the Packers. That division, it's gonna come down to them in Minnesota. But some real good. I will say there's really real good games yesterday. But Saquon, stop, man. There are things that happen, right? I grew up watching Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was a video game running back. That's how he played. He doing something every week, right? I remember Dante Hall, the return man for Kansas City, who could do some crazy things. Obviously I'm a Falcons fan, so I remember Deion Sanders prime when he was in, Atlanta. Saquon Barkley, you need to stop doing it. That man has a wife and kid. That man has a family. Hold on for a second. We've seen almost everything on the football field, Smitty. This man running. Okay, I'm a little flare out, catch it. Listen. I spun on the first dude. That's cool. And when I spun, okay, now I'm facing no man's land. I'm gonna jump and touch both of my toes. The thing is, right? Now we watch football for 3 reasons. You want to see your team win. You want to see the team you're playing lose. And you want to see a moment. I want to see something to make me go. I don't know if you holding your baby girl and you sweetie, did you see that? Did you? She what? What did I see? What?
Yeah.
Did you? I don't know what that's going to rank because I saw, Garrett Wilson, that one-handed stab. You know what I'm saying? That was I'm like, God, that's crazy. And then Saquon said, I got it. What? I'm going to do something. Listen, I used to hurdle people in college. I hurdle people in the NFL. I wasn't trying to let that be my move. I just used to do it. I just did it.
Yeah.
If I had to hurdle, I don't even how do you jump? Hey man, listen, this is what we're gonna do. I want you to run, and when you get about a foot away from me, yell, I'm gonna jump. Oh my God. Saquon,
it was crazy.
Stop doing
That's one of the best things I've ever seen.
Ridiculous.
One of the best things I've ever seen. Some of the games that stuck out to me, I'm just going to do a couple of quick headlines on some of these games. Back to Thursday Night Football, you mentioned Garrett Wilson. Obviously, that catch was insane. Shout out to the Jets finally getting off the schneid of the win a little bit.
Devontae Adams, leave that man alone. Don't do that, Petrie, man. God, that was ugly. Jalen Petrie is a nice young DB out of Baylor, and they put him in the slot against probably one. Devontae Adams isn't who he used to be, but as far as releases, he went like this and went. And Jalen Petrie was like, "Don't do this to me." He like, "Yes, I'm about to do it to you." He caught it. He stuck the ball up in the air, man. How wide open are you when you're running? He did a Dion on him. God.
And I was saying, watching that game, CJ, welcome to Bryce's young world last year. That was what Bryce felt every week of the season last year. It's amazing when you have a couple of weapons go down, and except Bryce had those not at all for the whole year, and your offensive line is poo-poo. So like that's how Bryce felt all of last year. But CJ Stroud, I think he'll get back to it this week against the Detroit Lions. That's going to be a pretty good game this week. We'll talk about that later. Saints Panthers. I already touched on that one. I was just gonna say from the trade perspective, I do think Adam Thielen is getting shipped out tomorrow. That's my bold prediction for the Panthers. I think he's getting shipped out. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He's getting shipped out where?
Steelers.
What? Oh, you know what? The Steelers did say they wanted to add kind of like another piece.
I'm hearing Mike Williams or Adam Thielen to the Steelers. One of those two, I think is going to.
I forgot about Mike Williams.
One of those two.
Hold on. So Mike. So what if Adam Thielen goes to the Steelers and Mike Williams? You know, I mean, he went to school in Clemson. He's kind of familiar with the Carolinas. What if he comes to Charlotte?
No, I don't.
What? See, once again, Smitty, you doing it, and I knew you were gonna do that. Listen, I asked you about Bryce Young. Can you enjoy it? You go, yeah, I enjoy it. Then when I say Mike Williams, you go, no, man, don't do. Basically, what you said is don't do that to me. Don't do that to me because I don't want to get my hopes up. And we get a real number one receiver who's on a 1-year deal, by the way. He's on a prove-it-year deal.
He's got to stay healthy, no matter who he plays for. He's got to stay healthy. I really liked Josh Allen yesterday in the Bills versus Tua. That was a great game back and forth. Tyler Bass, shout out to Tyler Bass, 61-yarder. He was my alternate. Absolutely sensational, Tyler Bass going for 61 to win that game over Tua and the Dolphins, who now look like sellers at 2-6. Josh Allen and company. 235 yards, 3 touchdowns. They throw an interception, but they're now 7-2 on the season. You mentioned the Ravens already. Justin Herbert played a really good game yesterday in Cleveland. Now it is the Cleveland Browns, like you said. James Winston back to the mean, but 2 tutties, 282 yards. J.K. Dobbins added 2 touchdowns on the ground as well. Chargers slowly getting back over 5-3 now on the season. Your Falcons were able to beat the Cowboys. That game was a little closer at the end than obviously.
We're gonna make it, no doubt.
But Dak out with a hammy now. That could be severe down the stretch. But Cowboys don't look like a playoff team at all. Micah Parsons in the lineup or not. They just don't look very good. They look lost out there.
I mean, it was a play, Smitty. It was a play that she will come wide open, right? I can't. His name slipped my mind right now. Trevon Diggs, the brother of Stephon Diggs. Trevon Diggs is a really, really good cornerback. Like really, really good cornerback. But there are some times that he does things like that. If they're in man to man, well, you're a cornerback. So if you're a man to man, they're gonna put you on a receiver, and they ring like a little bunch. And the receiver, and mind you, this is like 4th and 4. Receiver is wide open. And once again, he did the Devontae Adams, stuck the ball up in the air. And I don't like this. Whenever you see a DB look back like this, like, no, dude, no. That's your man. That's man to man is what it says. This is not a disclaimer. This is not a misnomer. This is not trying to lie to you. It's all in the name. Man to man. You being a man, that man being in front of you, you got him. And that's the thing about Dallas. I heard somebody say it, which I agree. Really, really talented team. Right? But they ain't going nowhere. I know that Dennis Allen is, Dennis Allen is the second. I'm sorry. Coach Seelau was the first one to get fired from the Jets. Now you got Coach Dennis Allen from the Saints. The next 2 that's about to fall, and I'm gonna say 2. Next 2 that's about to fall, Coach Mike McCartney, right? And number 4, Doug Peterson. I don't think Doug Peterson gonna make it. I don't think that. How does Doug Peterson make it to the end of the year with? And here's the thing. Once again, you talk about talent, right? Talent. You talk about Thomas. You talk about Evan Ingram, Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk, Trevon Walker, Josh Allen. I mean, the other Josh Allen, Josh Sims Allen. And nothing. Like nothing. And I don't get it. But like I said, Eli was the first one to go. We talking about Dennis Allen. You mentioned Doug Peterson. I mean, I think how does he make it to the rest of the year with a team? The Jags aren't underperforming. The Jags are awful. Like they are awful. They are bottom feeders right now. And I don't know. It's going to be a brawl for it all when they play the freaking Titans for nothing. It ain't going to be for nothing. My goodness. They didn't do the color rush uniforms that time. They had on the Jaguars had on the mustard looking whatever, and the Titans out there looking like the Smurfs with the all blue on. So
we saw a division rivalry in MetLife Stadium. Commanders come out with a 27-22 victory. Jaden Daniels and Daniel Jones both had 2 touchdowns. Panthers Giants is the game next week in Germany, so us Panther fans will be seeing Giants very quickly, very soon. We talked about the Eagles. We talked about your Titans a little bit. Lions Packers, those conditions yesterday were gross in Lambeau Field. Jordan Love really struggled yesterday, but
they was throwing shade. The Lions were throwing shade at the Packers because the big just like the Dolphins in the playoffs in the cold, they can't win. They say, well, the Lions are a dome team. They can't handle conditions. They can't handle rain. And they was like, who?
Yes, they can. Oh, yes, they can.
Too. No Aiden Hutchinson, and they ain't Mr. B.
Oh, there's great depth all over the place. The Rams, Matthew Stafford just keeps winning in overtime over Seattle.
Yes.
This man just keeps getting it done. Geno Smith, ugly interception in the end zone, 103-yard return by the rookie from Miami, Cam Kitchens. The Rams just keep finding ways. Sean McVay
the walk off. Shout out to DeMarcus Robinson. Shout out to that Florida Gator man, making a nice career for himself. By the way, the walk off, the one-handed walk off. I will say this about Matthew Stafford.
And Puka got ejected. Even that's without Puka getting ejected there.
Yeah, Puka throwing a punch, getting thrown out of there. Cooper Kupp kind of being neutralized a little bit. DeMarcus Robinson has made a nice career for himself, find a way to still go out there and get it done. Shout out to the Florida boys making plays all day yesterday. But I am very, 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 very. What we got right there? Nice little coffee mug. Oh, I see it. Okay. He got the coffee mug. No, we don't appreciate Matthew Stafford. We really don't, because Matthew Stafford is a guy that proves, look, I was good. I was good when I was with the Lions. We weren't good as a team, but I was very good, right? I go over to the Rams. I win the Super Duper Bowl. Now, this team was stacked with Cooper Kupp, and you know what I'm saying? What's the guy named? What's that bum name? Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. They had a team. They had a squad. Von Miller. They had a squad. But in spite of, I really, really think this, and I could be wrong, I think Matthew Stafford can go out there and win with anybody you give him. I think that this is no lie to me. I could be wrong. Matthew Stafford had the same roster Bryce Young had. He's gonna find a way to win. That's not saying that Bryce Young is less than him. I don't think Matthew Stafford, because he played with Detroit for so long. And let me say this now: he had Megatron. Now, let's not trip. He had Calvin Johnson. But what I'm saying is, I think his mentality is, man, whoever you give me, let's do it. If it's Tutu Atwell, you know what I'm saying? If it's Puka, if it's Coop, if it's DeMarcus, and I think I could be wrong again, Smitty, but I think that's what they want. I think that's what Coach Canales want. A Bryce Young to be. Look, man, no matter who we give you, you got to deliver. Because if you can do that, and people say, why is that important? Remember when Jalen Hurts didn't have AJ Brown? Yeah. See what life is with him? I'm just telling y'all, these good quarterbacks have something in common. People go, with Travis Kelce, you talk Patrick Mahomes, right? You talk about Justin Jefferson, no matter who was that quarterback, whether it's Kirk Cousins, now you got Sam Darnold, right? Bryce Young, to me, is a player that they expected to lift, what they say, tide lift all boats, whatever the little saying is.
Rising tides lift all boats, yes.
No. Give this man something. But shout out to Matthew Stafford. He is, and we ain't gonna do it this show, but one of these shows we're gonna do Hall of Famer now. And the reason why I like to do that,
we'll do that in the offseason for sure.
Well, the reason why I like to do those type of shows is because I think certain players has disqualified guys that would have won the Hall because of how they playing, because of what they've done. But shout out to the Rams, man. Gino, listen, and once again, another head scratcher. What is going on with the Seahawks? Like, what in the world?
Something.
Like, really?
Something. They injuries. DK Metcalf was not there. He's a big part of their offense. Tyler Lockett, I know, one old man wonder, is still doing things out there.
Yeah.
But before we go jump back to Saquon Barkley for our segment we teased there. Before we jump back to Saquon, literally, shout out to the Arizona Cardinals, 5-4 on the season. James Conner is one of the most underrated running backs in all of football. He does not get the credit, in my opinion, that he deserves in the National Football League. Former Steeler, former Kentucky Wildcat, now with the Arizona Cardinals. And Caleb Williams and company, they're in a bad place right now, I think. I mean, DJ Moore came out on a Chicago radio station today when they asked him if Matt Eberflus was the locker room, and he said, I wouldn't say no.
What?
That's what he said. That was on a Chicago radio show earlier today. DJ Moore, Captain DJ Moore, former Carolina Panther.
What's up with DJ these days? Oh, and I gotta correct you. You said James Conner went to Kentucky. The young man went to Pitt.
Pitt, thank you. Yeah. Yes, I'm thinking of Ray Davis for the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
James Conner, we'll have you on the show. I'm sorry, sir.
Of course, listen, James. That's nothing. Listen, anytime we mention you on the show, Justin Jefferson, Macaulay Culkin, I'm sorry. Joe Burrow, any one of y'all can come on the show anytime. Speak your piece on here because, like I said, man, this is a family show. We trying to make sure we gonna keep it a buck now. We're gonna call spade. We're gonna call strikes, and balls. But we're not gonna sugarcoat it. You guys are professionals, so and you guys pay a lot of money, and we are just giving you our take on it. You win the division. You are winning the division when you are putting yourself in a position to win. You are not winning the division when you put yourself in a position to lose and you actually lose. Like, wait a minute. Yeah. And once again, Geno Smith, what is going on with the Seahawks? I do not know. I do not get it. But that division is still wide open. Arizona, San Francisco.
They're there.
It is.
They're there. They just traded for a pass rusher, which we'll get to in the headlines in just a few minutes. But, they're wide open. Let's jump back really quick. We spent a little longer than I thought we would on this, so we'll make this segment not too long. We'll jump back into Saquon Barkley in that backwards hurdle. So, Ben, I'll just throw it out to you. Let's just keep this pretty simple. Is there any other player in the National Football League who could do what Saquon Barkley could do last night?
Odell Beckham Jr. could do it, but guess what? I mean, I know that Odell Beckham played for the Dolphins. They don't even throw him the right. No. And this is why, right? Number one, these things aren't planned. No one goes home and say, hey, listen, if I'm in the open field and I spin and I'm facing the wrong direction and the defender's coming, I'm going to jump backwards. Like I'm going to jump backwards with my legs straight out like I'm planking or like I'm trying to do a stretch.
I think Christian McCaffrey might do that.
Christian McCaffrey could. I think Tyreek Hill, he probably could. But once again, here's the level of difficulty on that play. I got to get enough height to clear the defender. I got to get enough height. And I got to hope and pray that I don't get meleeed while I'm in the air. Because more bad things happen when people jump. Because I ain't got nothing. There is nothing underneath me. Saquon Barkley, they showed, so after he did it, right? After he did it, they panned the camera to A.J. Brown because A.J. Brown was still in the game at this point. A.J. Brown, you know how you be like, man, because being a former player, the one thing I used to get a kick out of stuff is just being on the field or being able to witness this as your teammate. Because Giants, the New York Football Giants, y'all let him go. Y'all said, hey man, he's getting a little older. There are certain players, people, and athletes that defy Father Time. They take Father Time. And
Derrick Henry has performed a lot better than I thought he would this season.
Tom Brady beat up Father Time. LeBron is still beating the brakes off Father Time. Cal Ripken Jr. beat up Father Time, right? Adrian Peterson beat up Father Time. Saquon Barkley beat up Father Time. Julius Peppers beat up Father. There are certain guys, stop putting him in the category. And when he did it, right? If I'm okay, Smitty, let's do it. We finna go to football wonderland. Smitty is playing for the Eagles, right? Smitty got called up. He's playing, you know, the wifey, the kiddies, they in the stands, right? You on the Eagles. He just did that. You know. You a backup running. Listen, Smitty is a backup running back for the Eagles. He got called up. You know, you in the game. You start on special teams, but you in the game. He does that, and he got to come out the field for one play just to savor it. And you got to run it. So he does a little tap. You know, he does an Anthony Richardson. I can come out. You run in. What he did, I'm gonna call it that. Listen, Anthony Richardson, know I love him, man. I interviewed him on my podcast before. He know. But what do you say to him? Like, you know how you run out. What do you say when you run about him? Do you say, boy, you crazy? Or like what?
I'm gonna say, you expect me to follow that? What? you expect me to do that? I don't think I'm in the right profession if you expect me to do that.
There are certain things that leave you speechless. They showed it's a video going around. I think I want to say it's a Giants fan, and he's watching the game live, and when he sees, he's like, "What the?" Because no matter what, if you're a Giants fan, you don't like you don't like the fact that Saquon is not with the Giants, but it's the Giants' fault. He wanted to be a Giant. So Saquon, look, sir, listen. We are mere mortals, man. You are like Neo. You are Neo. You were in the Matrix. When you did that, Coach Sirianni said he's the one. That's crazy. Like, that's some. The only thing I can't get back compared to is way back in the day. I don't know who the receiver was for Cincinnati, but he's running and he's almost in the end zone. He jumps, and when they jump, it kind of like when Cam got hit in the air, he did the somersault. Here's the difference, though, Smitty. It was a Cincinnati receiver. He was running and he jumps. Look, he jumps over the defender, does a somersault. Listen, I mean, just perfect 10 on the landing, and jumped up in the air and stuck his hands up. I compare it to something like that because how? Why? Like, it's so many. Like what? Like what in the world? Guess what Nike did? Nike took him when he's legs fully straight out, legs like this. Showing whatever kind of cleats he got on there, like all silver, smooth. And they said, remember when LeBron was getting ready to win his first championship? No, when he was getting ready to win with Cleveland. When he decided to leave Miami and go back to Cleveland, they had the big mural of him and it said witness. He got his arms out. Do you know Nike has witness, but guess what, Smitty? They got it spelled backwards. Oh my God. Whoever that Jacksonville Jaguars DB is or defender is, he hates his life. Because he's gonna be a part of that for life. Think about this. I'm going to hit somebody who has their back turned to me, and I miss him, and I go like this. And he jumped over you backwards. And Smitty and Ryan Smith came in right after him. That's what I'm gonna tell everybody.
Yeah. Well, let's get into overreactions, injuries, trades, if we want to, before we get into our normal closing it out of games to watch for in Week 10. Here are some headlines, injuries, and you just tell me your thoughts on this as a former player and someone who knows ball. Dak Prescott left the game yesterday against the Atlanta with hamstring injury. It looks like he's going to be out multiple weeks. CeeDee Lamb also was injured in that game, but that injury not considered as serious. Ravens corner Marlon Humphrey today talked about their struggles yesterday, and he decided not to throw the defense coordinator, Zach Orr, under the bus, saying that it shouldn't be blamed on him as a first-year play caller. They have to take accountability to themselves and really just reassess where they're at as a defense. CMC back at practice for the 49ers, looking to potentially make his debut this year. And then, as I said, the Arizona Cardinals did make a trade. They traded for Broncos pass rusher Baron Browning for a 2025 sixth-round pick. So, any of those stick out to you in any way?
Obviously, Dak and CeeDee Lamb are going to be overreaction because of who they are and who they play for. Everything with Dallas is, people just going crazy. I'm very, very impressed with Marlon Humphrey by saying, look, man, I'm not going to listen, him being a first-year play caller, we got to go out there and execute. That's professionalism. That's 7-8 years in the league, understanding that, look, man, number one, why would I talk trash about him when I got to go in the defensive meeting room? He going to look right at me, right? No, listen, we got to go out there and execute. If we execute, this is a non-starter right here. But because we're not, C-Mac, be careful. I'm going to be happy to see C-Mac back out there, but you already know, Kyle Shanahan looking at the child. Oh my God, I can't wait to give him 30 carries. He can't do 30 carries yet. C-Mac's body gave out on him because of the wear and tear. That's a lot of production.
We saw it in Carolina.
That's a lot. And that's a mixture of both. That's a mixture of both Carolina and San Francisco. Sometimes, man, I get it. People go, his body's in great shape. Yeah, well, he's going to get hit a lot. And that's a lot of that. He couldn't be in the NBA because they do load management. I mean, shoot, now players won't even play. But anyway, like the Browning kid, hey man, we'll see what he can do. I think that players finding themselves. That's the thing now with football. Players getting traded during the season, either because they want to dump money. Three things: they want to dump money. The player is disgruntled, or you going to a team that needs your services. So once again, Mike Williams. There's a team in Carolina. There's only one team in Carolina that plays professional football. So they don't want you in New York. Man, come on back home, man. I'm just saying. I know Smitty can't say that. Smitty like, don't. But and if I could, yes. If I was good enough to send Smitty a breaking news, Adam Schefter, Mike Williams, I would. But I'm not diabolical like that. I'm not good enough to do that. But if they don't want it with the Jets, and Kansas City already got D-Hop, If the Steelers want to get Adam Thielen, let Mike Will come on over to Carolina, baby. Why?
Yep.
Where you became a star at?
We'll see. The other headlines, real quick, we mentioned Saints fired head coach Dennis Allen after 7 consecutive losses. They're $60 million over the cap next year. They kept pushing the credit card limit down the road, if you will. So this is going to be a very long rebuild for the Saints. They're going to have to start moving off pieces. Yes, $60 million. Yes. So guys like Marshawn Lattimore, guys like Demario Davis, guys like Cam Jordan, guys like Tyrann Mathieu, guys like Derek Carr might be gone as well. Like there's going to be a lot of change in
I know we haven't talked about. I'm sorry. It is the Saints. Okay, Saints lose to the Panthers. Bryce Young, very efficient with the football. Got it. One of the best interceptions I've ever seen. May never see it again. Crazy. But during the game, one Michael Thomas, who used to play for the Saints.
I did not bring this up. Okay, glad you're bringing this up.
Is driving around the streets of New Orleans, asking random people about Derek Carr. Let me tell you how low. There's low. And then there's Michael. Hold on.
And then they asked him in the press conference, Derek Carr, in the press conference yesterday about his comments, and he was professional, but here's
my thing. Michael Thomas, listen, player of the year, receptions, most receptions in the NFL season, 2-time first-team All-Pro, incredible player. It's time. But really. Yes, Chris listen, man, hung out to dry, concussion protocol. We are praying and wishing the best for Chris Olave. We get it. But just like Saquon during the backwards hurdle, DJ Moore walking off the field, during a play. You got to be bored and miserable to do that. You got to be in a different type lane mentally to do that. Michael Thomas, hold on. You're going around. Here's the thing, right? People going, Ben, why you got to say all that? Why is he filming it? Why is he filming it? Michael, I'm going to tell you what happened, and I don't know the full scope of it. Michael Thomas became a free agent. Now, he started being more of a problem child towards the end of his tenure with the Saints. 31 other teams can see that. People looked at two things. Your best years, you had who? Drew Brees. Like a lot of people did. You became a problem. And people thought that you were more of a system receiver than, But now you're doing that. Look. I don't care who you are, how I feel about you individually, personally. That's low, man. And then, what can Derek Carr really say? He started by saying, "I got love for Michael Thomas." Man, it's obviously I don't like the really. Like, we need to do better than that for me personally. And I just thought it was. I mean, it was classless, man, because you don't got to do that. Yes, Derek Carr is not the best quarterback. That is not a news flash. I mean, Captain Obvious is somewhere in New Orleans saying, yes, Derek, Carr is not a good quarterback. Do quarterbacks hang players out to dry now and again? Yeah, they shouldn't, but sometimes they do. The best have done it. But to do that, and I got to say this, Cam Jordan, really, bro? We lost to the Saints. Y'all lost to everybody. Not just the Saints. I'm sorry. We lost to the Panthers. No. Y'all lost to everybody, all 6 teams before this Sunday, yesterday. You lost. So did you say that about them? Nope. Shout out to the Panthers. They getting this Bryce Young, getting people fired. Dennis Allen. Good luck. I mean, I still don't understand the Dennis Allen hire when they hired him. That was a head scratcher from the time he started.
I'm going to say this. There are New Orleans fans on Twitter who are saying tonight that Bryce Young can come down, have as many beignets and po' boys and crawfish on them, because even though they were upset that he beat them yesterday, the day later when they fired Dennis Allen, all was forgiven. They said, Bryce, thank you, buddy, thank you.
If Cameron Jordan comes out and say, I just want to say appreciate our Bryce Young and just helping us move. And here's the thing, Cameron Jordan, how many more years you think you got, bro? You've been there a long time. So I don't know. And who walked up to Cameron Jordan to calm him down? That will be in one Derek Carr.
Yeah. So. A couple more headlines really quick. Shane Waldron, speaking of the Bears, it was announced he's going to be sticking as the play caller. Matt Eberflus evaluated everything and said he gives them the best chance going forward. I know, that's what he said. Bengals coach Zach Taylor says Zach Moss is going to be sidelined indefinitely with a neck injury. And then the Chargers are seeking clarity from the NFL on why Justin Herbert is not getting enough calls.
Whoa. Mr. Harbaugh. You just got bagged. You ain't your brother.
They're saying he's getting the Shaq treatment, and so therefore he's not getting enough roughing the passers.
Listen, I'm sorry. Oh, hello? Oh, yeah, I tell him. That was Michael Vick. He said, well, really just, hold on, hello? Oh, that was Cam Newton saying, Herbert, he's not getting enough. I'm going to say this. You want to get calls? Let me show you how you get calls. When they won Peyton Manning had nerve damage in his neck, he missed a full year. You can't hit quarterbacks high anymore. Remember that? When they won Tom Brady missed a full year because of a torn ACL, you can't hit quarterbacks low anymore. Those are the faces of the league. Justin, this you sound a big deal. You're a good quarterback now. You are a good quarterback. You play for the other team in LA. I'm going to say that again. Justin, you are a good quarterback. Got a shot to be one of the faces of the league. Here's the thing. You want to know how you will start getting calls? You don't think Patrick Mahomes will get calls? They so scared to hit Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes out there running around looking like Lamar Jackson on the sideline because they scared to hit him. If you don't think they are afraid to hit the best players in the league, try again. I'm just telling you, Justin, you want to get calls? Go to playoff games and don't let the other quarterback throw for 5 interceptions and y'all still lose. Against Trevor Lawrence and company. Find a way. Listen, find a way to come out of that division. You're not going to win that division now. You're in the same division as freaking Kansas City, but you got to go to playoffs consistently. Be in the MVP race. Be a first-team All-Pro. Things like that. Because when you're talking about he ain't getting no calls, he ain't getting enough calls. Who are you? I'm just saying, Justin. Come on. Yeah. Stop playing.
Let me give you a few of my overreactions. This is my research now coming out, and as the former player, you can tell me if I'm crazy or it's pretty good, Ryan. Let me. All right. Micah Parsons should ask for a trade from the Dallas Cowboys instead of re-signing with them. We'll start there.
Oh, you own something now. Now a trade to who though? To who? Well, when you ask for a trade, I don't think you really control who you get traded to, but that's a lot of money. That's Brian Burns even more. Whatever Brian Burns got.
Yep.
We're talking about 40 million a year?
I mean, Panthers
could use him. Hold on. Would you give Michael Parsons $40 million a year to come to Carolina?
Well, we have no one else on defense right now at the defensive end
spot. You mean Michael Parsons, Derek Brown? I'm just saying. See, Smitty, and you've done that twice tonight. I asked you about Mike Williams. Don't let what the front office has not done discourage you. Deontay, okay, boom. Adam, I get it. I get it, right? I get it. But come on, Dan Morgan, make a splash. Come on.
And I've heard through the grapevine that they like Adam Thielen. They want that Adam Thielen said today he thinks he might be staying because they really like him. They don't really. He doesn't want to get traded. Of course, he's going to say that, but we'll see. I just have a feeling because he's going to be 35 next year. I just have a feeling they're going to move him by tomorrow. Here's another one. The Commanders will be a top 2 seed in the NFC playoffs.
Yeah. Well, whoa. I know Detroit is probably going to be the number 1 seed. You know that. If Philly keeps playing the way they're playing, they might have something, to say about it. But hold on. I know people don't want to do this, but you know who beat Philly? The team that's number 1 in the NFC South right now. That would be the Falcons. You know who should have beat Kansas City, who held them to 22 points all game?
The Atlanta Falcons. Yes.
Look, that number 2 spot is gonna be up for grabs because I have too much faith in Coach Dan Campbell. Coach Dan Campbell said, "We'll play any day. We don't care in the parking lot," and I believe it. That number 2 spot is going to Commanders, Atlanta, Philly. I mean, because if people say, "Well, what about what about the NFC West?" It's 2 up in the air. You got literally 2 teams right now because the Rams are playing better. Arizona is superseding expectation. San Francisco needs C-Mac back, and I really don't know what in the world is going on with Seattle. But but I do like that though. I'm not saying they won't, and I'm not doing no home cooking. I don't got on black and red glasses right now for my 500. But Jaden Daniels, hey man, if he can stay healthy, they got a shot to be the number 2 seed. Dare I say, number 1 seed if they keep on playing the way they play. We'll see.
All right, last 2 for you. The Bengals are going to make the playoffs. The Bengals are coming all the way back. They're going to make the playoffs this year. I think Burrow's going to get hot here shortly. They still got some time. They still got time. They're going to do it. I can't see Burrow missing the playoffs 2 years in a row. Last year,
I think they can't get hot because there's so many. Bunch of teams make the playoffs now. It's a bunch of way. What is it? 4, 7,
4 and 5.
No, I'm saying you got your what is it? 4. It's 8, 10, about 12 teams made the playoffs. Something like that. There's a bunch of them. Bunch of teams made it. I can see them getting in. And I will, once again, talk about the teams that are dangerous. Since then, I heard all this talk about how, oh my God, they the same old Bengals. They make it in. They coming for everybody. And once again, there are certain quarterbacks that can, not saying they will, that can beat Patrick Mahomes. I think Joe Burrow can do it. I think he's done it. I think Josh Allen can do it. I think Lamar Jackson can do it. Now, will they do it?
We'll see.
But we'll see. We'll see.
All right, last one. Cliff Kingsbury, he worked with the guy at USC named
Oh,
Caleb
my God.
Williams.
Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, the Bears need to make an offer to Cliff Kingsbury that he can't refuse and give him the keys to their kingdom at Hallis Hall to work with Caleb Williams, come over from the Washington Commanders after this standout rookie season by Jaden Daniel, Cliff Williams.
Yeah. Now, Cliff Kingsbury's starting to get on my nerve for this reason. He's an incredible play caller. And I think you said the right thing, Smitty. Let him work with the quarterback in the offense, not the whole team. Not because people get to thinking, oh, Cliff Kingsbury, he was out there in Arizona, didn't really work out. You know what I'm saying? He had Kyler Murray, didn't work out. Now he's, as far as like X and O's, helping them quarterbacks, helping them offenses, I think that's his expertise. And you can make it, and you still getting paid from Arizona, man. You know, you got to buy it out. You good. I ain't counting your money. But yeah, I think, but it was scary about Cliff Kingsbury. He's doing such a good job over there with the Commanders. They're going to be talking head coach. I mean, you already got the Saints. You already got the Jets. We'll see, but Cliff, spelled with a K, by the way. We'll see how that ends up. But he is doing a great job right now with the Commanders and Jaden Daniels.
Well, that brings us to our last segment, Week 10 games to watch as we get going here. Already halfway through the season. Hard to believe it, Ben. We'll start with mine this week. But before we do, actually, let's just talk Thursday Night Football because that's coming up in 3 nights' time. Bengals-Ravens in Baltimore. That is a divisional matchup. That is going to be 2 MVP-style quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, facing off for the first time this season. What are you looking for in this game in Baltimore?
Hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. I mean, don't make life hard on offense. Hand the ball off because here's the thing. You're going to need to be balanced on offense and you're going to need to score because I do not trust this Ravens defense against this Cincinnati offense. Joe Burrow, I think, once again, like has that real similar to a Matthew Stafford. Man, he ain't got a bunch of nobodies. Now he got, I don't know if T. Higgins is still hurt, Jamar Chase and company, Gesicki, and those guys. Joe Burrow said, look, man, if we got to outscore the Ravens, we'll outscore them. But that's how we got to do to beat them. Because Joe Burrow, look, I don't know if he dyed his hair back to regular color. I don't know. I really don't know. Didn't like the peroxide look. Wasn't really going for that. Shout out to Macaulay Culkin for Halloween, though, being yes. Joe Burrow. That was beautiful. But I think it's going to be fireworks. I think if Derrick Henry is involved early and often, you can find a way to get the ball over the top, to Zay Flowers, and Likely and those guys, and Lamar Jackson just be Lamar Jackson. But that defense, Ravens defense, is going to have to come to play because if they show what they've been showing, it might be a long night for them because in Cincinnati, they're on a mission to get back in the playoff contention.
All right, well, here we go. Here is my top 5 games to watch for week number 10. Number 5, and I will do my toilet bowl as an aside at the end. Number 5, Steelers, Commanders in DC. Steelers coming off a bye week. Commanders off their win over the Giants. 6-2 Steelers, 7-2 Commanders. Jaden Daniel looking to continue his campaign against Justin Fields. Maybe Justin Fields, actually. Could be Russell Wilson. We'll see how they do there coming off the bye week. That's number 5. Number 4, 49ers, Buccaneers down in Tampa Bay. Christian McCaffrey hopefully making his return to the 49ers backfield. Him and Jordan Mason, 1-2 combo there. We'll see if Mike Evans can get back for this game. I don't know if he will be yet, but would like to see him back for the Bucs, at least give Baker another weapon out there. Both these teams at 4-4. Someone's going to go under 500. It's a very critical game for both Buccaneers and 49ers at number 4. Number 3 is Bengals Ravens that we just talked about on Thursday Night Football. Ravens and Lamar Jackson can really put a stranglehold on this division, get to 7-3 on the season. I think the Bengals really need this game for their playoff hopes. They're going to get back to 500 with a win. I think Burrow's going to play well, but it's Lamar Jackson, so I'm not going to say they're going to win necessarily. We'll just have to see what happens with that one. Number 2, and this is going to be coming out of a shocker, Monday Night Football, Dolphins-Rams out in L.A. Matthew Stafford is one, as Stephen A. Smith says, one bad man. He very durable, very tough son of a gun. And Tua played really well in a loss to Buffalo this week. I was encouraged by what I saw in that loss. They really need this game if they're going to do anything the rest of the way. I think this is going to be a really good game on primetime in the lights. I think Tua is going to play well. Will they pull the upset? Depends on what Rams team shows up. But I definitely think they can be sneaky good in that game. And then number 1, Lions-Texans Sunday Night Football, Goff, Stroud in Houston. Not a lot needs to be said. I just think these are the 2 best teams on paper, matchup-wise, this week, pretty easily, just from a game perspective, in my opinion. Stroud's offensive line will have to perform a lot better than they did against the Jets if they're going to have a chance to beat these Lions. But I think that's going to be quite a game to watch coming up on Sunday Night Football in week number 10. And then my toilet bowl, as an aside, if you want to watch, I'm not going to say you should watch it or that you need to put yourself through the misery. But if you do want to watch Patriots-Bears, go ahead and do that. Unless you're a Chicago Bears fan or a Patriots fan, then I know you have to watch. They are my toilet bowl of the week in Chicago, Patriots-Bears.
Listen, like your list, our list is real similar. My number 5, I'm surprised you kept it off your list. Giants-Panthers. Look, they're going to be in Germany, right? It's going to be the Brian Burns reunion game, even though it's going to be overseas. Can this Panthers team do the unthinkable and go back-to-back wins, right? Whether it's one is in the States, so you're going from New Orleans back to Charlotte. Now you're finna go to Germany. I think it's going to be a good game. Brian Burns, look, every time we say blood and guts, every time a Panther come back and have to play his team, it's going to be blood and guts. I want to see we know that Bryce Young's going to be the starter. I know Coach Allen's trying to play mind games, whatever. It's going to be Bryce Young. Hopefully he goes to 2-0 in the last 2 weeks. My number 4, Vikings-Jags. Let me tell you something about these Jags, right? Jags have been playing hard. They're still losing. And the thing about this Vikings team is they show that they can bleed. Yeah, you're going to have to find a way to stop. Justin Jefferson catches a lot of balls. You don't get in the end zone that much, right? He catches a lot of balls, a lot of catches, a lot of yards, but not a lot of touchdowns. I think it's going to be more intriguing than people give me credit for. I like that matchup. We'll see what happens in that one. My number 3, Steelers-Commanders. T.J. Watt. He heard about this young man that played for the Commanders out of LSU, number 2 overall pick. Silky smooth, swag, dripping everywhere. But this Steelers D, they come ready to play. I am looking forward to the matchup of Scary Terry Lauren versus McLaurin versus Joey Porter Jr. Should be a good one. I am looking forward to that one. Should be fireworks. My number 2, Bengals-Ravens. Look, the thing about Joe Burrow is he's super duper confident. They asked him about Halloween. You know what he said? What? People just be dressing up and go where to do what? Man, you know what Halloween is. Stop. Just stop acting. I don't like that when you make a bunch of money. We get it. Come on, Joe. Just say, hey, I ain't a fan of it. You know, I'll put some candy out my house and my gave community them, whatever. But stop playing with it. But like I say, hand the ball a heavy dose of Derrick Henry. That should be able to work. And my number 1, Lions, Texans. We have the Texans is very, very hot and cold, Smitty. Like they can look like world beaters, but what you said, lost your 2 starting receivers. I know you still got Tank Dell, you can show some those guys, but CJ Stroud didn't really look like himself against the Jets. It's almost like, what's going on? CJ Stroud used to play as if this may be your only time watching him play. Going back to his days at Ohio State after his first year. But the Lions are on a mission. The Lions play like they know that people ready just to go back to just write them off. Man, we the Lions. We don't go back. Listen, man, this ain't your old line. This ain't your grandfather's Lions. They're not going back. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. But I do think the Lions going to bring out the best in the Texans. The Texans need to get a dub. I mean, I know they still got a stranglehold on this AFC South division because, you got the Titans, the Colts, and the freaking Jags. But you want to continue to put some distance in between. So C.J. Stroud and company, they got to prove that their offense is more than just one player here, one player there. You got to go out there, spread the ball around, run the football, play good defense. But Lions, Texans 1, Bengals, Ravens 2, Steelers, Commanders 3, Vikings, Jags 4, Giants, Panthers 5. And that toilet bowl game, I'm gonna say the same. I said, look, this Bears defense is being wasted this year because I really don't know what be going on offense. Keenan Allen, Aduze, DJ Moore, what's going on? Listen to this: DJ Moore, Aduze, Keenan Allen,
Cole Kmet,
DeAndre Swift. What? Like
Cole
what
Kmet.
is Cole Kmet? I mean, they got some players, and they just not getting it done. But it might be a snooze. No, it might be a snooze fest with Mayo getting his third win of the year. We'll see. But that is my games I will be watching. Coach Canales, just say the man is the starter. God, Bryce Young is the starter.
Now before we wrap up, as this is winning the division, you are either in the division or you are winning the division. But listen, we're recording this on Monday, November 4th. Tomorrow, two very important things happening in our country. Number one is the NFL trade deadline, 4 o'clock tomorrow. Let's be honest. We'll see what happens.
Mike Williams will be a Panther. Well, I'm just going to call it. It might not happen. We'll see.
So we'll see who happens to get traded. Enjoy the madness. And then the elections tomorrow. Go out and vote. Do your thing.
Do your civic duty.
I'm not gonna tell you who to vote for. I'm not gonna get political, but just do your thing. Go to the polls if you haven't done so already with the early voting. And again, this is For Ben Troupe. I'm Ryan Smith. This is Winning the Division. You can find us on all platforms where podcasts can be acquired. YouTube.com/Tobacco Radio for the YouTube page as well. We'll see you guys next week for episode number 12. And until then, see you there.